Yo, what is up, Crocs and Clan members, anime fans, and others who have found this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're doing anime time on Dog and Scissors. Let's go. So, Dog and Scissors is an anime series which is supposed to be a comedy show, and I do air quotes because to me it didn't feel like a comedy. Like when I researched it in comedies, and it said it was a comedy, and it sounded like it was potentially a comedy, but then it ended up not being a comedy. I should seriously just start talking about the show and just forget about that aspect. But anyway, so Dog and Scissors, storyline wise, you have the main character who is essentially a bookworm. He separated himself from his family because they were moving out because his dad got a job somewhere else, and so they needed to move from where they were living, and he wanted to stay to go to school, and that's actually where there was a bookstore, and so he was basically staying at their place by himself, and he loved books, and then like his life goal was to read an entire series called The Deadly Sins, which was made by his favorite author, uh, who whose author name was Shinobu Akiyama, and like the person hadn't written the last book of the series. It's the Seven Deadly Sins. That's the name of the series. It's supposed to be one book for each deadly sin, and so his life goal was to read the entire series before he died. Then one day he was in a cafe, and then there was this guy there who ended up doing a robbery. And there was this one chick who was just writing in her booth, right? She was writing. The the robber like was threatening everybody to put the money in the bag on, to get the money. And then he told the main character Kazuhito, who was in his booth, which by the way we never see his face in the entire show. And I'm being serious, we never see his face. Um, so he tells him and then the girl, like he's like, you two or you guys get up off the tables and put your hands up. And so he, Kazuhito obviously gets up. He's like, okay, what the heck is going on? And then he says, us, or them. And he looks next to him and he sees the girl riding away, just not paying attention to anything. And the robber obviously is like, hey, I told you to get up, and then like all this other stuff. And then Kazuhito basically saves her, and he actually gets shot in the head, point blank. Like the dude just freaking bam right there in his head. Like after the struggle, like Kazuhito was on the floor, and the dude just freaking headshot right there, bam. Um, and so he died. But because he had such a drive and motivation to read the series, he ended up transporting his mind into that of a dog, and that's where the series begins. Right as soon as that happens, so he gets picked up by the author, his favorite author, who actually was the girl in the store in the cafe. Apparently, that's her Natsuno. That's her name, Kirihime Natsuno. Her She is Shinobu Akiyama. So he was calling out to her. Now, throughout the series, he needs to be with her because she's the only one that understands him. Nobody else can hear him talk, and he's not really talking. It's more like through his mind, so she can read his thoughts and all that stuff. And it's just a bunch of antics between all that. There's a lot of moments that are emotional. That's actually the thing that happens in the beginning. That's the thing that made me not feel like this was going to be a comedy, because there's a lot of emotional moments in the beginning about how she feels like, or they try to catch the guy who killed him, or Kirihime is trying to catch the guy who killed him, and like he's like, you know what, like they were on a bridge, and he was about to fall off, basically, like he was knocked out, and he was like leaning on the end of the bridge, on top of the highway, and she was like, you can do it, you just push him down and he's gonna die too, and you can get revenge for him killing you. And then he's like, and he pulls him down, and she's like, why would you do this? And then he goes off to explain that no, even if he kills him, it's not like he's gonna come back as human and all this other stuff. And then she starts feeling bad because he died protecting her, and so they go into that whole thing, and he's like, and I mean, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just what it is. And so it's an emotional moment. Um, and that's and yes, there are some bits of comedy. It is funny in certain moments. But to me personally, the only thing that makes this, I mean, to me, the only thing that made it a comedy was her editor, whose name was Susanna, and she has problems. Well, I mean, no, I shouldn't say that because people have those desires. Essentially, she's one of those people that likes to be tortured and hurt, or basically, she likes to be abused in a sense. So, like, she always tries to, like, because Kirihime is actually, like, very temperamental, and especially towards her. And there would be times where, like, she always carries scissors around. That's why it's dog and scissors. Because the main character is a dog, and the other main character is always using scissors. That's like her weapon. Now, literally, weapons in this show are really there's actually people using weapons, but they're all random. Like she uses scissors. There's this one, the main character's sister who actually ends up showing up has like a big old knife that changes shapes depending on what it needs. There's the other chick who has a freaking broom that when you take off the actual broom part, it's like a spear. And it was ridiculous. Um, but anyways, so she would cut her editor like in various places, and all she would do like would just scream in pain, right? But she would talk about how good it feels and all this other stuff, and how she wants her to keep hurting her and all this other stuff. And anytime something would happen, like for example, they were in a spa one episode, and like there was like a bunch of zombie like people who were like running over her, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they had this in the spa." And just situations like that. She's the only thing that made it funny for me because some of the antics she would do was hilarious. There was one actually like that the last episode. This was hilarious, right? Basically, she starts explaining why she needs all this stuff. Basically, she has this meter. Um, right? It's this meter of like torture, and as if it's high up, she's okay. But if that thing ever drops down to the bottom, she's gonna die. And so she's trying to change Kirihime's image for people because she uses her author name, but nobody knows who it is, right? So she's kept it in secret. Whereas there's like three females who are like the highest selling or the three best selling young authors. So there's Kirihara, and then there's like this other chick who's like, um, I believe her name was Moxie. She's like this blonde chick, and she's also an author, but she's also a pop idol. So she's all open about it. She's like, oh, I write books, and I'm a singer, and all this other stuff. I'm shining all the time. And I can't remember the name of the other chick, because she's not really like we mainly see her the chick with the spear. That's her maid, and all she ever talks about is her mistress, and that's who it is. But I don't think I can't quite remember if they ever actually said her name. But all three of them are the best-selling authors. But people know who the other two are. They don't know who she is. So she's trying to like change her image, and so she's trying to do like a bunch of different things. So she has like outfits and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta get a signature," and so like she grabs her scissors and like does like a Z shape on her chest, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so great!" And then she tries to get her drunk to get her more pissed, and she turns into like the complete opposite, where she's like really really nice, and so. Her meter just starts going down every time, and she's trying to make her mad, right? She's trying to make her mad because she needs to be hurt, right? She needs to be what is it? Insulted, right? She needs bad stuff, Then you just see like every time she says something next, her meter just starts going down, and all of a sudden it hits the bottom, and you just see her turn into a corpse, like all white and everything, and just starts decaying. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. I mean, I laughed. I laughed. I mean, maybe that's just me. Um, and I guess the other funny part, but this one was not as often. Because most of the torture scenes are the hurting the dog because she's Kirihime. She's like she's just a person like that. She's temperamental, so she just likes to cut things with her scissors. Those moments kind of got stupid after a while, where she would like threaten to cut and punish Kazuhito. But I believe like the funny parts to me personally were the ones because apparently she actually fell in love with him, and like those moments where she would go and like completely like I forget. I think it's Mo. No, it's not Moe. Damn it, I can't remember right now. But it's like where she would like imagine herself with him and all this other stuff, and like the future and like having kids and all this. That stuff was funny. Like because it would be like really awkward because he's like over here like what the heck is wrong with this chick? In fact, when she was drunk, she was imagining a wedding and like the honeymoon and all this other stuff, and it was ridiculous. It was dumb. Actually, it looked like it's like on the last episode. Um, like she took him to bed, and it was one of those where it looked like she was gonna rape him, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I feel something coming out of my throat." And she's drunk, right? So he knows what's going on, but she thinks it's her love that's coming out. And he's like, "Please don't let me go, let me go." And he's like, I can't hold it, I can't hold it. It's gonna come out." And he's like, "No, no, 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 get me out of here." And he like we don't see it, but like he basically like we just hear him screaming. Like the shot zooms out of the building. You just hear him scream, and just she basically threw up on him. And I was like, I was laughing. I was laughing. It was funny. Those moments are funny. That's the aspect I see the comedy. But for the other stuff, it's mainly just sometimes it was stupid, and then there was very emotional areas, which I didn't mind. It just felt weird considering it's supposed to be a comedy show. I don't know of any comedy series that has like a deep emotional connection in there. Um, like when they introduce his sister, they try to do this whole thing with how she feels bad or she is upset at the fact that he died, and like how he misses her, she misses him, and how the connection, the bond they had, and how she feels frustrated and angry at the fact that he stayed behind for his favorite author, and instead of going with them. So they do like these types of emotions. There's actually other stuff with like the bookstore owner, and the fact that they were gonna close down the store, and like their young daughter was like ran away because she didn't want the store to close down. They start throwing these emotional spots at you, and I'm like I thoroughly enjoyed those. I actually like that aspect more than the comedy part. So to me personally, I think the comedy should have just been a thrown in there as extra, because they could have actually turned this into a really emotional show where it just brings out emotions out of you, but and then just sprinkle in the comedy every once in a while, because the way they did it, it was so unbalanced. It felt like they were trying to push the comedy and then sprinkle the emotional stuff, but the emotional stuff has a bigger impact, so it kind of like throws you off. Um, but I mean, it's a good show. You're just gonna have to deal with a lot of nonsense every once in a while, especially Moxie. I got sick and tired of her. I actually hated her right into the series. I was annoyed by her gimmick and all that stuff. So get ready for that. I'm gonna leave a link to Crunchyroll's website. That's where I was watching it. So you guys can watch it there. But anyways, guys, this has been SoresanCrockxen. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been another anime time for Dog and Scissors. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in future videos.